This is before work, isn't it, Doug? It's not work hours. Not for a little bit, so we're right. What's going on here, Douglas?
Just got a little squid on.
Yeah.
Adding to the feed for tonight.
Look at that.
On the it's not a flash boost, but it is a Shimano squid jig in the Lumo colour, very good colour, in the dark and in the light. Delicious to eat. We'll take him home and cook him up.
And this is before work, isn't it, Doug? It's not work hours.
No, actually, I'll show you something here.
Look at that. We're not due in the shop for a little bit, so we're right.
All good. Product testing.
That's exactly right. Making sure the stock works.
Yeah, well on, Stewie?
Of course I do, Douglas. Yeah. Look at this.
Catch up to me, mate.
We're playing catch-up game this morning.
Nice. Let's have a look at that little fella for a sec. There we are. Beautiful in the sun, look at that. On the Shimano Cephia jig, mate.
That's it.
2.5. I lost. Oops. So just squid all over me. I lost squid, but Stewie's got one. Well done, mate.
That's right. Yeah.
Hi, Doug Burke from Doug Burke's Tackle Wheel here on the Gold Coast. I just want to quickly talk to you about just the squid that's happening at the moment. Just give you a really quick rundown what to do. We will be doing a seminar on squidding in full detail, probably in around about 2 or 3 weeks' time. I'll keep you updated on the date on that as it comes along. But in the interim, this is what you should be doing. So the go is to find the squid. So to find the squid around the Gold Coast area, you need to be fishing in the broadwater. If you have a boat, that is great. If you don't have a boat, I'll give you some quick guidelines in a moment. But if you have a boat, they're in the main channel. So whether it be from the Seaway all the way up to maybe around Karachi campgrounds on the eastern side of the broadwater, and the western side of the broadwater from Effron Island all the way down to, say, near the Grand Hotel or even maybe Lotus Creek. The squid we're mainly catching at the moment in the channels are arrow squid, so they're quite small to medium size. They will get bigger over the next couple of months. It's only the start of the season, okay, folks? So last year we'll catch them right through to August. The prime time was around June, July. So it's just starting. So at the moment they're sort of, you catch a few other little ones, which we always throw back. The bit bigger size, which are medium size, I call them, are the most common size at the moment, which is probably body size of around about 150 to 200 mil maybe, plus the head, whatever. And the squid jigs have been working really well around the 2.5 if you're casting. So we have 2 techniques of catching the squid. So first we're in the channels. You want high tide, just start to run out. You don't want too much wind, and you need to always cast up current. So up into the current that's coming back towards you, and you let your line sink down. So technique first, then I'll show you what squid jigs work. So cast it out, okay? Watch the line, it sinks and hits the bottom. When the line stops on the surface, that means it's hit the bottom. You just wind the slack up, okay? And then just do quite aggressive 3 little shakes, just a little bit like flathead fish with soft plastic. So boom, 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 oops. And drop your rod tip back down and let the lure sink back down to the bottom. Don't be in a hurry to pull it up again, so just wait a little bit. It may even drag a little bit on the bottom. That seems to be when they grab it, okay? So when you go to lift it again, sometimes they're attached, so it's really like dum dum dum. You'll feel that on the line as you take up the slack. They're on there. Or you'll lift up to do the first lift and you feel a bit of weight, they're on there. I think sometimes they're watching it. As soon as you do that first lift up, they'll grab it, okay? It feels a bit heavy. When you do get that hit and you do hook them up, just set the hook a little bit so drive those squid jigs in to their body, and then just slow wind, keeping the rod tip up. Don't give any slack at all. Just slow wind up and pull it towards you. And once you get in the boat, you can just grab them and pull them in the boat. These arrow squid are different to calamari squid, so occasionally they'll get on their longer tentacles, but generally they inhale the whole thing down into their little mouths, their little legs. They're pretty well hooked, in other words. Where the big calamari squid, different scenario, they will actually lash out generally with their long candles and they'll grab it, and you'll need to net those because when they're full of water, they're maybe 1 kilo or 2 kilos, the big ones, and sometimes that will snap off and try and lift them in the boat. So yeah, net on the calamari, lift by hand with the arrow squid. The arrow squid don't squirt much ink as well. They will in the bait tank or the bucket, but they don't do much in the air. So generally speaking, it's much better to just lift them in straight and put them into a bucket. Okay, so that's the technique. Cast up current, let it come down with the current. As soon as it hits the bottom, just 1, 2, 3 up, quite aggressive. Drop it back down again. Wait, take up slack. If it's not on there, 1, 2, 3 up again. Drop back down again. Wait before you come up again. Okay, and it's all the way back to the boat. If you're shore-based, you need to cast as far as you can to get into that deeper water, okay? You need to be on the edge of the channel, getting into around 2 or 3 or 4 meters of water and casting up. You'll need to wait until it hits the bottom, hopefully not around too rocky area because you might get caught up, but that's what they are. And then hop it back to you, bring it down with the current as it comes back towards you, and then cast out again. This is for the arrow squid. For the calamari squid, so we're talking like the bigger squid, like along the Grand, near the Grand Hotel boat ramp, all the way on the foreshores at Aqua Building, over on the seawall, and down maybe in Bayview Harbour Wall. That's where you get those fellows. And they're the same sort of technique, but a little bit more winding, so that they don't wind aggressively to lift up every now and then, but slow winding, and every now and then pause. It's really important, especially at night time, that you watch in the light and try and see the shadow of the squid following the squid jig. And if you do, at that time you can do 2 things. One is you can just drop the bail arm open like that and let the squid jig pull the line and sink. And when they sink, they'll reach down and grab it. Okay, that's how they work. And straight away they'll start pulling. Once you pull that, close that up, it'll be pulling on there. Don't have your drag set too tight because you'll snap the tentacle off. And don't have it set too loose because you won't set those squid jig prongs into them. So set it just a little bit firm, and but not too tight. And just gradually pull them in. Okay. Keep the rod tip up all the time, just a little bit up. That's the technique. Braid line obviously works better. Fluorocarbon leader, around 10 pounds is enough, or 12 pounds. Squid jigs. Okay, squid jigs, there's a huge array of squid jigs. We carry around about 300 to 400 different, 300 to 400 squid jigs in our store, probably around about 100 different models and colours. The biggest size that normally works when you're casting is a 2.5 on the Gold Coast, which is around this size here. That's a 2.5. Colour-wise, everything nearly does work. So orange works, pink works. Last year had a lot of good luck on that little sort of slimy blue one there. There's different blue ones, there's all different types. They all work, but I find really that what really works well is a red-based jacket, which is like the foil internal, so that red colour. And they do it in obviously bigger sizes as well. Okay, so they work well, but any colour works well. Then Shimano do the new flash boost, it's called. It's like a internal of the squid jig has like this little thing that shimmers naturally. Light time at night, any light that's on the water from street lights, if you're around, say, the Grand Hotel, will reflect off it. During daytime, obviously, the sun reflects off it, but if you can see how that works, I just got to touch it and it shimmers, if you can see that. Not quite sure if you can see that, but hopefully you can. They work really well. And then there's sort of the glow things. I can't turn the lights off, so there's no one here to turn the switch off, but that thing there glows like crazy. And there's an array of glow-coloured squid jigs that really glows at night time. Just hit it with your torch or your phone, light on your phone really quickly, and it'll charge it up, and then cast it out. And quite often for squid, glow attracts, okay? And then there's all different ones with Japanese prongs on the back that are very, very sharp. And the dories, these are really good Japanese design squid jig. There's many different ones. Anyhow, But just remember, if you're in the boat catching the arrow squid, to work those 2.5s. If you're from the shoreline chasing the calamari squid, I'd work the 2.5s. If you are in the boat and you want to have what we call a sleeper line out, so just say you're 4 metres deep of water, you drop your lure down around about 3 metres or 4 metres similar depth. It'll sit on a bit of an angle in the current behind the boat, and it just sits there with the rod tips down fairly low to the water, and they'll just jump on it and start pulling on the rod tip. Okay, you'll see the rod tip sort of start going like this. The squid's already clasped it, but in that case, you need to have a bit bigger squid, like a 3 or a 3.5, just to hold it down in the current a bit. Otherwise, you use a little 2.5, they tend to float on the surface a bit with the current while you're drifting. So use the bigger squid jig for your sleeper rods that are just sitting out in the water while you're not using them. You're actually using them, but you're not working them, sorry. The other 2.5 size, you're working. If you're land-based and want to try for the arrow squid, you need to get a long cast because they're out in the middle of the channel. So you'll need to have a 3 or 3.5 to get the distance in your cast, okay? You can't really go throw it a synchron because it doesn't work that way. They have to work naturally in the water. You throw a synchron, it just takes all that away. So you've got to use the weight of the squid jig to do the casting. Anyhow, give it a go, and we'll let you know when the squid seminar's on. You'll learn heaps more, and good luck out there over the weekend or next week. Until then, thank you. Bye bye. Thank you for that best tackle.